It's showtime.
Hello and welcome to Musical Lyrical Lingo. We're your hosts, Tim
And LJ. Today and every week we will be discussing musicals, but specifically what they taught us.
Hi.
Hi,
We're
that was
back.
very sweet. Hi.
I am all sweetness and light. What are you talking about?
You're not.
Of course. What? Excuse me.
You're not. You're like, oh, and then the mic comes on and you're like, hello, this is me. I have such a lovely, sweet voice.
Do you know some of my friends said to me, because they have continued to listen to our podcast, which is awful nice of them, that they were like, it's nice to hear you being yourself now. And I was like, what? And they were like, yeah, the beginning of the episode, you were like, so nice. And I was like, what do you mean I am a nice person?
You are a nice person, but you were maybe being a wee bit too nice. I got the same feedback.
Did you? Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah. That apparently that's not how you and me spoke to each other at the beginning. We were putting on a facade. I was like, that's not true. But actually, as the podcasts have come on, we kind of have.
I mean, when you've done 33 of them, you kind of get into the way of it. I just mould into this seat now, and then as soon as that you hit the record button, it's like
action.
We're on.
Action.
Yeah. No, we are actually being ourselves.
No, I know. And do you know what's great? That people are listening to us, but we've got a special mention. We are number 10 on top 90 podcasts with FeedSpot. Number 10. Number 10.
It's all got very serious very quickly.
Isn't it so exciting? So if you're looking for other podcasts to maybe try, go on to FeedSpot and have a little nosy. There's some really good recommendations. But
keep listening to ours and keep sharing our podcast with all your friends so we get to number 1.
Oh,
thank you
wouldn't that
very
be
much.
Exciting?
How do they find FeedSpot, Lauren?
Oh, they find FeedSpot by going to their Google and they go to www.feedspot.com.
See, that's why he's here. Feeding us the lines.
You don't even have to go to your Google. You just go up to the top of your address bar and just type in. Repeat that for me one more time, please, Lauren.
www.feedspot.com.
Why are you sounding like that?
I don't know. It's just coming out.
Feedspot.com. That's F-E-E-D.
Oh, lordy days.
Okay. Anyway. But isn't that exciting?
It's very, very exciting. So thank you to all of you who are listening to us. But do keep sharing and giving us a wee rating. That's how we get ourselves out there a wee bit more. So, but we do appreciate it.
We do. And we love that we have international listeners. Canada.
No, you're showing off, Lord.
Africa. Australia.
I know. One of our classroom assistants in school is originally from Botswana, and I was like, get on it.
Yes.
Tell the family and friends, get on it. We want to go live in Botswana.
Maybe we could do a wee special show out in Botswana.
I'm not so sure. The heat, I couldn't cope.
The heat.
You know what I'm like with heat.
Need a lot of sun cream.
And a lot of water. Yeah, no, I don't think so. I get the first line out and then I'd be like, I need to go and lie down.
You'd have to put on those gold lame pants.
How'd you know they're not already on?
Oh!
But we're going to move on from those really quickly.
Okay, move on.
Because the amount of abuse I got from the slip up I made in the Rocky Horror episode is unreal. Like some would say, the abuse, tortured I have been. And it just meant, I don't even know if I should even explain myself because it just doesn't sound right.
No.
I meant a bit of a show off, but not in that kind of way of showing off.
I know.
Hello, if you got it, flaunt it, right? Anyway, how's your week?
Oh my goodness. My week's been good.
Good.
Yeah, there's nothing been strange, exciting. It's officially November, which means it's officially starting of watching Christmas movies, so it's been fab.
Oh, no, it's a wee bit early.
No, it's not. 1st of November. Perfect time to start watching Christmas movies.
It's too early. It's like when you go into the shops and they've got their Christmas decorations up, and I'm like, but like Halloween was literally last week. What are you doing?
No.
It's a bit early for me.
Well,
I'm
not
going
for
to
me.
give I go normally like the last weekend of November before I'll listen to a Christmas song.
I don't listen to Christmas songs. That's different.
What?
I just watch Christmas movies.
So you watch the movies before you listen to like a Christmas playlist?
Yeah. Oh no, I'm not listening to a Christmas playlist. It's too early for that.
I suppose we should start planning for our Christmas episodes then.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's actually quite a number that we could do, isn't there?
Yeah.
Maybe we will drop 2 in 1 week that week.
Here, let's not make this a habit, okay? I had to lie down for a week after those 2 episodes. And
Speaking of that, you had to lie down for a week.
yeah.
You were away.
I know. I think that's why, but until the mic came on, I was a bit dead and a bit like flat because I've just come back from a half-term holiday, which was lovely. I went to London and...
Tell me.
Lauren, my life is complete.
Oh, is it?
I can die a happy man. Yeah.
Was it that good?
I saw, finally, Guys and Dolls. Yeah, and it was truly one of the best things I've ever seen. And I did say on the podcast that if I did not get a picture with Marisha, I would not be happy. And not only did I get a picture with her, but I got a boogie.
You are joking.
No,
Do you have evidence?
There is photographic evidence. There might even be a bit of a video, but I think that's far too embarrassing on my part to share.
Okay.
But yeah, so at the end of the show, because it's immersive.
Yes.
So we were standing, and the standing ovation goes to the stage management, who are dressed as New York cops, and they come along and move you very subtly to where they need you to be. So at one point, where I was standing a couple of minutes ago, all of a sudden, like a platform would raise up, and that's where the action would take place. And the next bit, like it was truly fantastic. So because you were in amongst the cast as such, when the curtain call ended, they then like had a bit of a dance party, which you were more than welcome to like dance with the cast. They were all up for it. They were like, yeah, come on. So off I go with my hairspray, with my Guys and Dolls t-shirt on to have a wee boogie with Marisha. And then I was like, can I get a picture? Because I had to get the picture. So we'll maybe share that on the socials.
Please do.
Because everybody wants to see a picture of me and Marisha, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it was unbelievable.
It was unbelievable.
The best version of Guys and Dolls you've seen?
Well, I mean, I've choreographed several versions. No, it was definitely the best I've ever seen. It's up there probably with the top 3 best shows I've ever seen.
That is high praise.
Isn't that high praise? Yeah. Because it's only when I started doing this podcast that I realised how many flipping shows I've seen. I've been very fortunate.
You have?
Yeah. And the Bridge Theatre in London is absolutely amazing, and the setting for it is so beautiful. It's right beside the London Bridge, and it's so gorgeous, especially at night. It was all lit up and really lovely. Yeah.
So did you only see one show this time?
I only saw one theatrical show, and then I went to see ABBA Voyage concert, which was unbelievable. But you feel like such a phony because you're like whooping and cheering at the end of like a song like you would do at a normal concert, and then you remember they're not actually here. They're holograms. But you totally forget about it. So the concert is the holograms of ABBA. So a whole concert, absolutely stunning.
But your applause is for the appreciation of the music, so it's not always...
Yeah, but your brain is totally tricked into going, you're at an ABBA concert, ABBA are on stage in front of you, without a doubt. Like,
that's fabulous.
They got me hook, line and sinker, and it's the second time I've seen it, so I should have known after the first time they're not really there, but they totally are. So yeah, I had a really brilliant week last week, so... Fast forward to today, having to mark 30 test papers and 30 maths books isn't quite the same feeling. Do you know what I mean?
No. But then you got to come here and we get to talk about musicals, and that's all lovely.
Gosh, Lauren, you're a tonic. That's what you are.
No, I love that.
All good.
See all of these wee sayings you say? I think we should get them printed on some t-shirts.
Okay.
Lauren, you're a tonic.
Oh, right. Now I understand why you want it on a t-shirt. Because you want to be quoted on the t-shirt.
I see people walking down the street and know that it's me that's on their t-shirt.
It could be any Lauren.
I know, but it's me.
Other great quotes include, "I'll never work again," and "Yeah, that's me."
Yeah. There's been many quotes.
I'll keep them coming, folks. What can I say? They just flow.
They do. Just come out of you.
Also, what just flowed out of my mouth there was I let slip as to what our musical was this week because I said it by accident.
Yeah.
What a dip. What are we looking at this week?
Hairspray.
Hairspray.
I love Hairspray.
Yes, so do I. Da 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 da.
Oh, yeah. One man show again.
Or boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom.
The music is just class, isn't it?
You interrupted my saxophone solo I was about to go into.
For goodness. Is that a saxophone?
That was the saxophone.
Sounded like a drowning cat. So.
Okay, you're just being rude now.
Hairspray, do you want to tell us?
Yeah, so in just over a decade, John Waters' Hairspray movie went from being a moderately successful independent film with a cult following to a multi-award-winning smash hit Broadway musical.
Don't we love when that happens?
Don't you just love it? And then a major Hollywood film as well.
Yep.
So, it's so weird, how Hairspray began.
Yes.
Because before the Hairspray film, independent film, it was doubtful that anyone would have predicted a mainstream success for maverick filmmaker John Waters, who, up until Hairspray, kind of made X-rated movies.
He did. So, maybe he was your friend.
Okay, you need to stop. Sure. Because I've just about survived a Rocky Horror episode. Let's not continue to throw me into the pits of hell, okay? So, it's weird that for such a bubblegum musical's the wrong way to describe Hairspray because it's so much deeper than that. But what I mean is a musical that has kids flocking to. Kids are a major part of the storyline. It's weird that it came from a guy
I know, I get you.
A guy who did X-rated movies. And another interesting link I thought was that many of his X-rated movies starred the extraordinary avant-garde drag queen performer Divine.
Yes.
And then it was the first time that Divine played a supporting character when she played the mother, Edna Turnblad, in the
film.
Hairspray film.
Yep.
Yeah. So then in 1998, and I think this is probably one of the most... one of the more modern musicals we've looked at in our past episodes. We seem to focus on a lot of oldies, don't we? Because we're old at heart.
I know, we are.
Young, present.
Young at heart.
Yeah, okay. So in 1998, theatre producer Margot Lyon, give us a roar, Lauren, give us a roar. Yeah, okay, can't believe it. Had the idea of turning Hairspray, the film, into a stage musical. So composers Mark Shaman and his lyricist Scott Whitman were hired as the songwriters. Interestingly, Rob Marshall initiated direction for the musical until he later handed it over to Jack O'Brien because Marshall departed to make the film Chicago.
Yeah, and that was always the plan.
Oh, was it? I didn't realise that. It was always the plan.
So Chicago was in talks, but it wasn't sort of taken off. There was still some sort of, issues that they needed to sort of iron out. So Rob Marshall made that very clear. He was like, I will be there, but as soon as Chicago gets the green light, I will be disappearing.
Oh, Rob Marshall, you cheeky wee man. So he was covering all his bases. He was going, okay, I'll say yes to Hairspray in case Chicago never happens. But was more than ready to drop Hairspray as soon as Chicago came along.
I think so.
What is wrong with people? You try and teach children you can't do everything. You got to make a choice. And there he is, spreading himself a bit thin. Well, listen, good for them both. Yeah. Then Jerry Mitchell took on the choreographer. And I'm sure we will come, well, I'll certainly come back to him later. The plot revolves around Tracy, a plump teenager in 1960s Baltimore, and her unlikely rise to stardom as a dancer on the local television show, The Corny Cowan Show. Against a score of 1960s style dance and R&B music, Tracy launches a campaign to racially integrate the show.
Love it.
Yeah. So the Broadway production was a massive hit, running for more than 6 years, and received 12 Tony nominations, winning 8, including Best Musical, Book and Score, Direction, and then Marisha Jarrett Winokur and Harvey Firstein. First teen won in the performance categories for Tracy Turnblad and then the mother, Edna Turnblad.
Yeah.
A successful London West End production followed, attracting a record-breaking 11 Olivier nominations.
Yeah.
It won Best New Musical and Acting Awards for mother and daughter combo Michael Ball and Leanne Jones.
Yeah.
And then in 2007, I'm exhausted.
I know, there's a lot.
Hairspray was then adapted once more for the cinema, resulting in one of the most critically acclaimed and commercially successful musical films of the decade, becoming the 6th highest grossing musical film in US cinema history.
Yeah, it's fab, but I actually learned a bit more about John Waters just from it, and he was heavily inspired by Wizard of Oz.
How many of these musicals come back to Wizard of Oz?
I know. So he's an American filmmaker, as you said, written many films, and they always contain elements of postmodern comedy and surrealism.
Okay.
And you can kind of see the surrealism inspiration from Wizard of Oz. And then he did, as you mentioned, always worked with Divine, who they died shortly after Hairspray was released.
With the John Waters Hairspray, original independent film.
And also, wasn't it amazing that it opened in Seattle, but then only a couple of months later moved on to Broadway?
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like it was off Broadway and then went on to Seattle, like, not.
Yeah, but I think they also knew pretty quickly, like, okay, actually this could be a hit. Yeah, because a lot of shows would open or do tryouts, wouldn't they? Mm-hmm. But I think they maybe the producers realised pretty quickly, actually, let's get it. Is there a gap in the theatre?
Yeah, let's get it in there. Let's get it in. And
absolutely.
Then, because of Divine, they always then wanted to keep that element of keeping Edna a male to female.
Yeah, that's it.
And Harvey Firestein, that's how you say it.
Firestein.
Is best known for his for the role. Sorry, he's best known for that. But he also wrote La Cage and the book for Kinky Books and also the book for Newsies.
See, I didn't realise that he had written La Cage of Fall. But I knew him from Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yes.
And I loved that film, and I loved him in that film because is he the brother?
He's the brother that
makes the mask. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
here, that's a musical I want to see.
Oh,
it's next on my list, Mrs. Doubtfire.
It looks really good.
Yes.
Also in that original Broadway, there were some really big names. So Laura Bundy, she played Amber Fawn Tussle.
Yep.
So people would later know her because she originated the role of Elle in Legally Blonde.
That's right, yeah.
Matthew Morrison was Link, and he's of Glee fame.
Is it Mr. Shue?
Yeah. And Carrie Butler, she was Penny, and she would then later go on and do Belle in Beauty and the Beast, but also Barbara in Beetlejuice.
Yes.
So I just love that, some people that we talked about.
It was one of the early kind of starting musicals for a lot of those people who then became really big established Broadway and TV stars.
I think it was one of the first, so we know this from our episode with the lovely Sarah, the 6 about going on and doing musicals on cruises.
Yeah.
Hairspray went and did a cruise version, and then they also did a 90-minute version of Hairspray that ran in Vegas.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking, how on earth did they condense Hairspray into 90?
I'm not sure. And I really probably should have looked more into it. But I was like, oh, that would be good to do maybe for like some smaller children or something. I wonder if you had the right people
we might
to do it.
Well, we might come on to that later. But whilst we're on the subject of Sarah, like, how good was our Queen?
So wonderful.
And it was worth the wait. That episode was worth the wait.
And she's off rehearsing. And
yeah, that's it. She's in it now, I think. She's in rehearsals in rehearsals. 2 or 3 weeks already, isn't she? Yeah. So it also is a really big, like, Hairspray, back to Hairspray.
Oh, right, sorry.
Yeah, I know, we're jumping about a wee bit. It's also a great show for touring. There's been quite a few tours of it, so and it's coming out again. So it's touring the UK. It's doing a UK and an Ireland tour from July the 24th, and you can visit hairsprayuktour.com for more information. I might go and see that. It's been a while since I've seen it.
I would definitely go and see it.
Yeah.
And the movie is one that we would have on in the house quite a bit.
Yeah.
And actually Ethan is starting to listen to the music and going, do you think I would like that? So he hasn't watched the film. But yeah, maybe that might be a good wee family one.
I also think it's a really important musical for young children to see. Yeah. And I think we might get onto that as well. Shall we move on to our musical?
I mean, I feel like I learned a lot just
Lyrical Lingo?
Just in the background, let alone actually getting to musical lyrical lingos.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I didn't overly know the background as to how you got to the stage. I suppose the first time I realised it was a film was when I randomly saw a YouTube clip where Ricky Lake played Tracy Turnblad in John Walter's original film. And funny, I then watched an interview where she was talking about it and how she had said that she had a big, massive issue with losing weight during the recording of the film because of the choreography. Okay. So she had to keep eating loads because obviously Tracy is a more plump girl. Okay. So that was a real issue. And then Leanne Jones, who was Tracy in the original London cast recording, she had exactly the same problem, and she had said that they got really close to having to wear the potential of her having to wear a fat suit.
Oh my goodness.
Which would have been a disaster for her. Warm. So warm. And the choreography is endless for the characters like Tracy in it. She wants to be a dancer on the Corny Collins show, so there's lots of dancing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but there you go. So, your musical lyrical lingos, Lauren, what did you learn?
So let's start with Good Morning Baltimore.
Yeah, never heard of it.
You never heard of...
Oh, never heard of Baltimore.
Oh, right.
I've heard of the song.
I'm sorry, how have you gone?
This is another one of these musicals I could sing you word for word, Lauren.
Yeah.
And do the instrumental.
Baltimore.
There's a flasher who lives next... Oh, I shouldn't mention that, maybe.
That's actually, there's a flasher who lives next door. I didn't know what a flasher was.
Oh, you're so young and innocent. I don't believe you for a minute. You're full of...
again, I just learned that was a place in America. Yeah. It always comes up really handy. Do you know whenever you're playing Stop the Bus and you need to come up with somewhere B, I always use Baltimore.
Sorry, Stop the Bus? What?
Yeah. That game we used to play in school.
Did we play it?
Yeah. Well, you were probably in the corner doing some sort of music revision.
I didn't have any friends in school. What are you... you're talking about all these games that we played in school, and I'm like, I played no games in school.
Oh, Timothy, you played Stop the Bus.
I didn't. Why do you play Stop the Bus?
You put, you have to do a name, a place, a country, a shop. Well, I sometimes do a shop in class. A fruit, a vegetable... And you have to do it with a letter, and you've got 60 seconds in the first one.
And it's the same letter, so the letter B. Yes. And then you have to say all those things.
So we've got to do Bobby for a boy's name and Barbara for a girl's name.
Okay.
Get it?
I didn't realise that's what you called it.
That game.
Yeah, Stop the Bus. So where does the bus come into it then?
Did you say Stop the Bus?
When?
Whenever you've got the...
Oh, all of the categories?
Yes.
Oh, right. So you know the categories you have to find it. Nah, I've never played it.
Oh, whatever.
It sounds a bit boring, to be fair.
Well, I learned about Baltimore, and so did you, so...
Yeah.
Okay. Next, nicest kids in town.
Yeah.
Did you have
Nice
anything on
white
that?
kids who like to lead the way. And once a month we have our Negro Day. I had never heard of the word Negro.
Okay.
Nor did I know what it meant. I was quite very young. The first time I saw Hairspray, I actually saw Hairspray before I listened to it, which is unusual for me. Yeah, we went to America one year and it just ended up being the musical we decided when we were there that we would go and see.
Yeah.
Didn't know anything about it, didn't know what I was going to see. And then that line came up and then obviously the storyline. So I didn't know what a Negro was or, you know, why that was used. And then following on from that, I wasn't aware of the oppression that was experienced by the black population in the past, which is why I think it's a really important musical for young children to see, because I suppose I was quite sheltered and quite naive to outside of my own wee world, and I didn't know anything about it. So that whole idea of segregation and how massive it was, like, you know, black people and white people were segregated in schools, public amenities, like buses, transport, like, didn't have any idea about that. Yeah, that kind of all filled my brain when I first saw Hairspray.
Yeah,
for the first time.
Real lesson.
Massive. What about you and nicest kids in town?
So they throw off their coats and leave the squares behind.
And then they shake it like they're losing your mind.
Well, so squares would be loser or uncool people.
Oh, is that what that means? Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that either. I totally missed that. Also, it's a really good musical for like just making up your own lyrics.
Yeah, true.
Especially like wee wordy ones, like Nicest Kids in Town. Nicest Kids in Town is the song that they sing on the Corny Collins show when they're like introducing themselves to kids.
The nicest kids in town.
Yeah. I'm Amber, Bread. Also the names. Have you ever heard of some of those names before? Vendor, Sketch.
No.
Luann.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever you think about it, they are quite weird.
IQ. I love that one of the kids was called IQ.
IQ.
I would be IQ.
You were Link once. Do you remember that?
I'm Link. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, I was Link.
Because that was the first time I was introduced to it. It was whenever you had come back from camp and you had said, and I was Link. He was the cool one. And I was like, who's Link? Like, what is Link?
Let me tell you about Link. He's the popular drop-dead gorgeous one.
I also learned, and once you've practiced every step that's in your repertoire.
Yeah.
So for those that don't know what that is a collection of dances or songs or whatever that you should know, especially if you're wanting to go and do auditions.
Yep.
That's that.
My repertoire's full.
Oh, it is.
Oh, aye.
It is.
Absolutely.
What about...
I see the next song on your list and it's one of my favourites.
Oh, I love it too. I was just about to ask you.
Hey, Mama.
Mama, I'm a big girl now.
Hey, Mama. So what did you learn about what did you learn from Mama, I'm a big girl now? Hey, Mama.
Obviously, we know about the hickeys from our Grease episode, but yes, that would have been another musical that sort of told me what hickeys were. But don't have a cow.
Yeah.
Just means to become angry or upset.
It's a brilliant number. So it's where Tracy, Amber, and Penny, the three like young girls in the show, are like having arguments with their mother. Yes. Their mothers. So it's the three girls and the three mothers, and it's brilliant. Like, it's so funny. But it's not in the film. Yeah. They did cut it out, but it's played in the credits, and it's Ricky Lake and then the two original. So the girl from the film and then the girl from Broadway, they sing it. Okay, got so they do. So it's the actual scene isn't in the movie. It's a great Hairspray. The way Mark Shaman started each of the Hairspray numbers is so effective. Like Good Morning Baltimore with that boom, boom, boom. And then that Mama, I'm a Big Girl Now is another one. Like, they just go, stop. Stop telling me what to do. Sorry. Don't treat me like a child of two. No. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, so good. Have you got anything from that one?
I have. We're kind of going in like chronological order here with our songs this week.
Not like us.
The next song on the soundtrack is I Can Hear the Bells.
This is my favourite song.
I can see why. It's one of my favourites. It's right up there too.
This is my favourite.
So basically, for anybody who hasn't seen it, Tracy is a bigger girl that maybe doesn't fit the norm for the kids that would have been cast in the Corny Collins show. She wants to be on the Corny Collins show. Link is drop dead gorgeous heartthrob who is on the Corny Collins show, and Tracy is completely and utterly in love with Link.
Yeah.
So I Can Hear the Bells is basically her fantasizing about her marrying Link.
But so these kids are on the Corny Collins show, which is really popular and everybody watches it in Baltimore, but they're also at school together. So they know these kids.
True.
So it's not that they're too far out of their reach.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. And Link then does, have an interaction with her. Yeah. And then she just, has this little, as you do whenever you're a teenage girl and the person that you're like fantasizing over like speaks to you. You're walking down the corridor.
That's how she felt the first time she saw you in the ice cream parlour, Anne.
Yeah, see?
There was no corridor in the ice cream parlour.
Well, no, but
Did you say, hey, little darling, to her as well? Because that's what Link said to Tracy.
So what did you learn?
Aren't you blushing? I've made him blush. Anyway, in Mama...
No, I Can Hear the Bells.
Oh, I Can Hear the Bells. She sings, I'll primp and won't be late.
Yep.
I didn't know what that word primp means.
No, neither did I.
It just means to groom or to like make small minor adjustments to one's hair, makeup or clothing.
I know, I did not know that. But was it like prim and proper? But that's a different word. It's primp. So yeah,
primp,
but I'm just wondering, did it come from?
And I also had Mother when she's talking about the wedding and all the rest of it. She
does it in the stages, and that's the thing. America sort of has like, whenever they're kissing, it's like it got to like first base and second base and third base, and whatever. She kind of goes through the stages, and stage 5 is the wedding.
That's right, in the song, yes. Well, little naive old me didn't understand what she meant when she sang, my mother starts to cry, but I can see 'cause Link and I are French kissing. I had no idea what French kissing is, but we're not going to discuss it on the podcast because I'm far too much of a prude, as you all know.
Yeah, I know, I do love that song.
It's a brilliant song.
I do love it.
Fantastic.
What about Legend of Miss Baltimore Crabs?
The weirdest song in the whole show. Okay?
Yeah.
So, the Corny Collins show and the TV channel is it run by like Amber's mother?
She's like...
Or is she a producer or something?
She's a producer.
So she's kind of high up with to do with the Corny Collins show. And Tracy comes and she's like, I couldn't possibly have her on the...
She doesn't fit the mould.
She doesn't fit the mould. So she then sings that you're not okay, like this is not all right. I was Miss Baltimore Crabs. There's certain standards. And I was like... This is a weird song. What is Baltimore Crabs? But it's a play on the Miss Georgia Peach pageant.
Oh, okay.
Which was in America. So Georgia is famous for its peaches. I didn't know that, did you?
Yes, I did.
Your knowledge of America is insane. Just as New York...
Going to the country, gonna eat a lot of peaches.
Oh, no? Right, okay. Never heard that song before in my life. Did you just make that up? No. She made that up, Aaron.
She did not, but I wonder what relation it has to what you've just said.
No, just peaches.
Because Miss Georgia Peach pageant is called the Miss Georgia Peach pageant because Georgia is famous for peaches.
At the end of the film, it says "Made in Georgia" and it has the wee peach symbol.
Oh, it's all making sense now.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I just didn't understand the song because I didn't know what key you were singing.
Oh, I know, that didn't help either.
And then just as New York is famous for its apples, I know that because it's called the Big Apple. Florida for its oranges. Baltimore is famous for its crabs. Miss Baltimore Crabs.
I love it.
I know. So, only now that I've researched the show do I now understand what that song is all about
that
and
makes
why
sense.
she was called Miss
I was
Baltimore
like,
Crabs.
that's not a great title to have,
It's
like, sash,
really
Miss
awful.
Baltimore Crabs as your
Yeah.
sash. Anyway, yeah, I
Not
learned something in that as well, where she goes, I would say "oh gave," but that's Yiddish for "oh violence."
Oh.
Oyvalt. It's Yiddish.
Oive, is it not? Oive.
No, Oive is spelled with a V, but it's "oh gave," and it's Yiddish, which means "oh violence."
Oh, because they're going to be violent towards Tracy.
Oh violence.
They're like mean girls, aren't they? Like the girls on the Corny Collins show, like they just don't want her there because she doesn't fit the norm. But like when Amber says, well, this show isn't broadcast in CinemaScope, I didn't realise, CinemaScope I didn't realise is the name given to that wider screen. Yeah.
Very good.
And then they also mention, so they're like testing her and they then question her and they say, would you swim in an integrated pool? Yeah. So again, going back to the fact I didn't know that.
Yeah. Their pools were separate.
Yeah, the segregation meant that they couldn't.
I love that line. I'm all for integration. It's the new frontier.
Yeah.
I love it.
Tracy's just
so
class.
much. That is, I'm going to adopt that line too.
By the way, if you hear snoring in this episode, it's not that
Aaron has fallen
executive
asleep.
producer Aaron's fallen asleep. It's the dog snoring behind me here. Oh, Connie, she's such a great addition to her podcast, isn't she?
And what about It Takes Two?
She's the one that's getting us all the listeners. The tune in to hear what's Honey going to do this week?
Just have her new section. So I learned a lot in It Takes Two.
It takes two, baby. It takes
I don't really like it. That's my least favourite song.
That was my song. That was the song I sang.
I know, but it's my least favourite. Out of all of them, it's my least favourite
song. I hear
song.
you. He's a bit of a bad word.
Okay, it's just...
He is.
Yeah.
He is. Well, what did you don't like the song, but what did you learn from it?
No, it's my least favourite. It's not that I don't like it, it's my least favourite. But, so, he says, Liz, well, she had her dick. And that's a reference to Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton.
I didn't understand that either. And for years I went, oh, well, no, it was really good, but there was a wee naughty line in there.
You didn't realise it was his name?
So he's singing about, the song's obviously called It Takes Two, so he's talking about two things that go together that are meant to be, like Tracy and him not, because he doesn't realise it. Does he realise that at that point in time?
No, not quite at that point.
It's just a song he's singing on the Corny Collins show, isn't it? So he mentions Lancelot had Guinevere. We get that reference. Mrs. Claus had old Saint Nick. We get that reference. Romeo had Juliet. And Liz, well, she had her dick. So I'm sure you can understand why I thought that was being a wee bit naughty.
Yeah, yeah. He also says Frankie Avalon had his favourite Mouseketeer.
Yeah, what's that about?
So Frankie was an American singer. And he had 31 Billboard US singles from 1958 to 1962.
Okay.
We should know him because he is in Greece from British School Dropout.
Oh, that's who he is. Yeah. Right, okay. That amazes me that he had that many hits.
The Mouseketeer, I know, isn't that crazy? The Mouseketeer that they're referring to is Annette Funicello. I think that's how we say it.
You're saying a lot of big words today.
Aren't I? She was a singer, but then she also starred... So the Mouseketeers were like young performers on the Disney Channel. Mm-hmm. And she and Frankie starred in movies which were called Beach Party. And they then created this wholesome romantic couple.
Okay.
And it was all of these a beach party sort of series.
Yeah.
So that's who it's referring to.
So the Mouseketeers, did that then fast forward? Was that what the Mickey Mouse Club was like in Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera's day?
Updated version of the originals.
And they were definitely pushing romances there as well between those three. Yeah. There was like a wee love triangle going on, wasn't there? Mm-hmm. Have you read her book yet?
No, I haven't.
Are you going to read it? I think I might. I think it's going to be full of absolute scandal.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So Mouseketeers then became Mickey Mouse Club.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
But then, look, there's another musical that's referenced in another, well, not another
Grease,
musical,
yeah.
but just mean Frankie is mentioned in that, and Grease.
But he's not great in Grease, is he? Like,
Well, I mean, we'll move on quickly, but I just,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Anything else for you?
The whole, like, maybe what I'm about to say is the wrong way of explaining it, so I've probably got the wrong word, but it was because I was a bit young. Do you know in Welcome to the 60s, Tracy eventually gets on to the Corny Collins show and becomes a massive hit.
Yes.
So then, like, Mr. Pinky's Hefty Hideaway contacts her and wants her to, like, be the face of his company. Like, to, like, that's not branding, is it? What is that?
Yeah.
Is that branding?
Because she's a big girl and he sells big clothing, he wants her to be the face of his company.
And the fact that she's popular, so she almost becomes a bit of a celebrity. So, we'll use her to sell our stuff. What is that called? Is
Endorsement?
that endorsement? Yeah, endorsement.
Today we would call that like influencer marketing.
Okay, that's what I mean. I don't mean Brandon. I wrote down Brandon, but I was like, I know that's wrong. I know I'm going to get shouted at.
Well, Welcome to the 60s, then she's also trying to encourage her mum to come out of the house, who hasn't left the house. And
Tracy, I haven't left this house. And I love her.
And she mentions Gina Lolo Brigada.
Oh my goodness, these names.
I know, it's terrible. Anyway, she was the highest European actress of the 50s and 60s, but she was a sex symbol, and she was an actress, but she was quite voluptuous.
Yes, as is Edna Turnblad.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was just a nice wee reference to the time that it's set in.
That's really lovely.
Yeah.
You're much more intelligent than I am, because what I learnt from Welcome to the 60s and Edna Turnblad was what wiener means. Because she goes, first let's make a pit stop at the wiener stand. And I was like, what is a wiener? Like, what is that? What is a wiener?
I'm glad you found out.
I did. It's a Frankenfurter sausage.
That's got to be on a t-shirt. What is a wiener? Oh gosh.
Listen, will you let us know on the socials, if we were to put out a range of musical lyrical lingo t-shirts, would you buy them? And how much would you buy one for? No, I'm being deadly serious. I think we'll do a poll.
Okay, let's do a poll. We'll do a poll.
We'll do a poll. First, let's make a pit stop at the wiener stand.
Apart from wieners, did you learn anything else?
From Welcome to the 60s or just in general?
No. Any more musical lyrical lingo?
No, I'm all musical lyrical lingoed out.
So I have a few more. So
good girl.
Without Love.
Without Love.
And this is, so it was way back. Way back.
Many centuries ago. Right back to the first episode.
So it was Fratricide that sort of got me thinking about this podcast. And then number 2 was 45.
Is your sister still alive, by the way?
Yeah, she's still alive. So where he sings, life's a 45 when you can't buy it.
Yeah.
So this is, again, kind of the whole podcast. I never knew what a 45 was, and that's where I was like, that would be a really good podcast to figure out what musicals taught us.
So what is it?
And a 45 is vinyl, and it's a single. So I am not into vinyls. My dad is really into vinyls and was and still is. So those that are into it, I apologise, but I never knew what a 45 was. But it's a single.
Nor did I. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
We also learnt from Grease about the cooties, that it was body lice, and then there was that whole song.
She's got cooties.
And then Penny and Seaweed have a relationship.
Yeah.
And in whenever they're singing, she goes, let them call the NAACP. Which in you can't stop the motion of the ocean.
And
the NAACP is the National Association for Advancement of Coloured People.
Very
I
good.
didn't know what it was she was singing about. So I did learn quite a lot.
Seaweed is black and Penny is white, and they fall in love, and I just love it as a musical. I really do.
It's great. And back in our duo episode, I spoke about how I think Penny and Tracy are a great duo. I do love
BFFs, aren't they?
I do love the character of Penny.
Penny's hilarious as a character,
Yeah.
She's so geeky and like
She's great.
funny.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I think that's what the musical has going for it, in that the storyline is so important, and so it needs to be seen by young people to get a bit of an understanding and a grasp of history. There's history coming into our podcast again. But there are so many characters that are so brilliant as a character. Do you know what I mean? They all have their own wee storyline. They all have their own wee, story arc and where it's going. And it's just brilliant. Like, Edna is almost as much the leading lady as Tracy is. Yeah. Then you've got Motormouth Mabel, who is Seaweed's mum. Yeah. And she has her own storyline with her, how she's been treated as a black
the
radio TV hostie.
So once a month when they have their Negro Day, she is the Corny Collins.
Yes, that's right. She fronts the show.
Yeah, she fronts the show, but she's only allowed to do that once a month.
Yeah, exactly.
And their whole thing is that, she's just as good and she has that wonderful song,
it's amazing.
But I think what's important
important
about Hairspray is that
I know where I've been. Sorry for interrupting you. I said the wrong.
That it's not just the fact that Tracy is a plump girl. It's the fact that she's a plump girl. She understands what it's like to sort of sit on the side of society, and if you're not totally perfect in their eyes, so she is able to help those have a voice. And it's not that she's a savior. She's not, and should never be seen to be that way. She just uses her celebrity for good,
and she's not afraid to call it out and say it as it is, and that it's wrong and that it needs to stop. It's a brilliant show.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah, and I would just it's also a perfect show for youth groups or amateur groups to do. However, you just can't do it unless you've got the right cast.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? When, the racial inequality and segregation is such a massive part of the storyline, you can't do it unless you have half of your cast that are black people. Yeah. Because it's their story to tell. It's, and I don't believe in all this. Oh, but we'll dress them in different colour costumes. Nonsense. No. That's not the point. You're completely missing the point.
Then you are missing the point of Hairspray.
100%. Do you know what I mean? So it is a shame that it's not out there more in the kind of like musical theatre roots out there. Your youth productions and all the rest of it.
But I think you're right. You can't.
Oh God, you can't do it. No way. Definitely not.
You could do songs. You can do,
like me singing Link song.
You could, but you can't do a full show or 90 minutes.
Absolutely. Do you have any memories?
Just that we have our lovely, wonderful Zoe was Amber, and I think I've seen it twice whenever she was in it.
Yeah. So she was in the UK. I think she was the first cast change, maybe?
She was.
Yeah, she was the first cast change of the UK production, Zoe Rainey, and she played, I went to say lovely Amber, but she is a wee bit of a cow to start off with. She comes good in the end, doesn't she?
No, not really.
Oh, she mellows a wee bit. Like, it's our friend Zoe.
No, I know.
Can't say she played the cow.
Yeah, so I went to see that, and that was a nice little theatre trip.
Yeah, as I said, I saw the original Broadway cast in Broadway and didn't have a clue what I was seeing.
Isn't that fun?
And I'm so glad that I saw it. You had mentioned Matthew Morrison before, and it was only when Glee came on, like years and years later on the TV, that I went,
I've seen him.
That's Link. It's Link. Amazing. And it was also the first time I experienced Jerry Mitchell's choreography, and I am a massive Jerry Mitchell fan. Like, he has choreographed some of the best choreographed shows I've ever seen, like Legally Blonde, Kinky Boots, which I just love as a show. He's right up there with one of the best choreographers there ever has been, in my opinion. And
isn't it funny that some of the people then he's crossed paths with, obviously Legally Blonde, she was in Legally Blonde, and then Kinky Book, so it's nice that we circle of kind of work together
100%. And I also remember the excitement when the film was coming out. Like, I do remember going, this is going to be brilliant, because I think of how much I enjoyed it when I saw it on stage, and then the cast was phenomenal.
Yeah.
In that 2007.
And it still really holds
film.
up. If you go and so it's a 2007 film, go and watch it. They are all really good actors.
Yeah.
And they understand their role, because sometimes when you take something from stage and put it onto screen and put in people who are famous and maybe stunt cast it doesn't always work. But I think every single person.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so John Travolta played Edna Turnblad. He was very good. I would still have taken Harvey
I would.
Fernstein, or Michael Ball was a brilliant Edna Turnblad.
Fantastic.
But then you had the likes of Zac Efron, who played Link Larkin. They did open editions basically for the Tracy Turnblad and Nikki. I wrote that down. Where is it? Nikki Blonsky was cast, but she was a complete, unknown. She came from a open cast. Oh, what do you call? You talks are gish.
Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken. That was my worst Christopher Walken impression. Not as good as the Cher one. I do apologise.
No, Cher one's fab.
And Queen Latifah played Motormouth.
Yep.
Like, just really brilliant, on top of their game people. Here, did you know that the Corny Collins show in the musical is based on a Baltimore, the Buddy Dean show?
Oh. And did it have
fun facts?
The same sort of...
I think so. Never saw it.
Buddy Dean show, but Buddy Dean didn't actually integrate.
Boo, the Buddy Dean. I can't even believe we even mentioned him on the podcast.
So, did you know that in the Broadway production, they use over 150 wigs, and Tracy wears 3 of them? So, can you name the 3 wigs that Tracy wears?
Does she wear? She wears a beehive at one point. Does she not?
Her first one, yeah.
Yeah, beehive. I mean, you're asking me like I know my hairstyles, to be honest.
She wears she's got her black one with the blonde streak. That's when she gets on the Corny Collins show.
Okay.
Remember?
Yeah.
And in the end is her straight hair.
Oh, she wears straight. Even in the musical, like the stage musical, she wore straight hair in the last one.
Well, it maybe isn't quite straight, but it's different. Yeah. No, it is. It is. Anyway, there were 7 songs
with a slight curve.
Yeah, 7 songs that didn't quite make the cut, including a song that says "It ain't over till the fat lady sings."
It's probably best that was put on the cutting room floor. To be honest, I think the songs, every song that's in it is so strong and so like memorable. Maybe apart from Baltimore Crops.
And It Takes Two.
No, I liked It Takes Two.
Just me.
Yeah.
Okay.
That, do you know what? It doesn't need any other songs.
No.
Although it would be interesting to hear what they sounded like and as to why they ended up not making it.
Cut.
They're 2 very clever composers and lyricists, aren't they?
Yeah. I think you're right, because
and Whitman.
They're so catchy, and they don't they grab you from the first beat, and you're just like, oh, I want to hear more. I want to hear more.
Absolutely brilliant. Like, relentless. Like, they power through, and they're just really catchy and memorable. Yeah. Standing ovations.
I can hear the bells.
I can hear the bells.
Yeah.
That song.
I do love that wee song.
I like the choreography, obviously, Jerry Mitchell's choreography, and I love the message of the show that I've mentioned, but I just love Edna Turnblad.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Would you like to play that role?
I think I could do an okay Edna.
I think you could,
it would mean I would have to shave my beard, and I'm not so sure I'm okay with that.
And I also, not anytime soon.
Thanks, because you're saying I'm so young.
Yeah, no, I do. Yeah. I think you probably would need to, wait a good 10, 15 years.
No, I totally agree. I just think she's so funny. Her one-liners are brilliant. And anybody who, makes her final entrance out of a giant hairspray can it deserves a standing ovation. I love that bit where she comes.
Yeah,
she
the
comes
end
out.
is just as good.
And I
as
love "Timeless to Me." I think
Oh,
that's
yeah,
my.
that's so cute.
I think that's my favorite song in the whole thing. So
Yeah.
"Timeless to Me" is when Edna and Wilbur, Tracy's parents, kind of sing a wee song with
Yeah.
each other, and it's just really cute. Time keeps a changing,
I don't know the rest of the words.
nor do I. But Edna, you're timeless to me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Brilliant.
think I really want to go and watch the movie again.
I think I might watch the movie again. Might inflict it on some other people as well.
Yes, let's do that.
It's a great musical.
Yeah, it is. So if you...
And it is time for that UK tour.
Yeah.
I think we're ready for
yeah.
another one.
Yeah, so...
Yeah. So
July.
get on to...
Oh, July's not that far away. July 2024.
Yeah, get on to hairsprayuktour.com.
Mm-hmm.
Have a look, see where you're stopping off. You never know, you might see someone you recognise playing in the Turnblad or Link Larkin. Producers just saying, podcast is going from strength to strength. I'm an aim now. You want me? You want me on the billing?
Oh my goodness.
You can brand me, endorse me, whatever you want.
What? You're getting yourself into trouble.
I mean, you can use me for endorsement. Oh,
Yeah,
jeez.
okay.
And look, end the podcast. What's next? Dare I ask?
Don't you do that. This disturbs me that you don't like this
have
musical.
No idea what's coming next week, folks. This is Sublime. We're going to the ridiculous next week. We are.
We're not going to the
100%.
ridiculous.
Let's put it this way. I'm putting my cowboy chaps back on.
You are?
But not for a good reason.
For a great reason.
Absolutely not. There'll be no
Thigh?
There'll be no thigh slapping next week.
Oh.
You may get the vodka out.
The vodka?
Yeah, because I don't think I'm going to get through next week's episode unless I'm absolutely hammered.
That is terrible. If I got through Oklahoma, then you can get through this.
You can't even put them into the same category.
I can.
It's ridiculous.
I can.
It's ridiculous that you say that they are
Well, they're pretty similar. Except this one's better.
lies. I might actually just phone in sick next week. Aaron, are you
Shut
free?
up, you.
I'm free.
You might...
Was that you pretending to be me? That is not how I sound. Anyway, we'll see how we go. I'll think about it.
Okay, you think about it. But I'll definitely be here with my salt and my tap. Only real fans will understand what that means.
Exactly. I'm not a real fan. You have completely lost me.
That's me whistling. We'll be back next week, folks.
Bye.
Bye.